Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Next item on our agenda is CFS proclamation.
Good evening.
Evening.
My name's Tony Teresi. I'm the president of Citizen Scholarship Foundation, 4 Ridgeway Road, North Reading, Mass. This week, we kick off Citizen Scholarship Foundation Phonathon Week. Started yesterday, March 6th through March 10th, and it runs from the high school location and Century 21 location. Students will be calling residents of North Reading to ask for donations to Citizen Scholarship Foundation. Since we began in 1963, Citizen Scholarship Foundation, a nonprofit organization, has been providing financial assistance to residents of North Reading. Since our inception, we have given out 1,700 scholarships and over $760,000 worth of scholarship awards to the citizens of North Reading. Last 2 years, 2009, there were 35 students and 32 students in 2010 for a total of 68 scholarships, just thus for the class awards. For post-grads, we had 19 scholarships and 16 scholarships for a total of 35. Total dollar value of these scholarships were $57,000 in the last 2 years of scholarships. We ask that this week be proclaimed Citizen Scholarship Foundation Week. The Phonathon runs through March 10th, and through the donations of the citizens of North Reading, we'll be providing scholarships to the graduates of North Reading or high school and other schools. Tonight I brought with me some student reps that are with us. So we have 4 reps from out of the 6. Erin Brooks, class of 2011, Alicia Carlos, 2012, Ariana Fusco, 2013, and Max Carlson, 2013. And I want you to know that Max did a great job on the website for CSF. It looks terrific. We have added all sorts of bells and whistles to it. So with that, I ask the gentleman if you could proclaim this Citizen Scholarship Foundation Week.
At this point, I'll read the proposed proclamation and then we can vote. The proclamation reads as follows. Whereas the Citizens Scholarship Foundation is a group of hardworking, dedicated individuals, and whereas the CSF members have devoted both time and talent to the difficult task of seeking scholarship funds for deserving students, and whereas CSF is planning its 25th annual Phonathon for the week of March 6th through 10th, 2011, where high school students will contact all North Reading homes by telephone seeking pledges to the CSF Scholarship Fund. Now, therefore, we, the Board of Selectmen of North Reading, do hereby proclaim the week of March 6 through 10, 2011 as CSF Dollars for Scholars Week, and urge all citizens to open their hearts and their purses to the benefit of North Reading students who want to continue their education. Mr. Prisco.
Mr. Chairman, I move to proclaim March 6th through 10th, 2011 as CSF Dollars for Scholars Week and to read the attached proclamation.
Second. Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Discussion, comment. Mr. O'Leary?
CSF has done a fine job. Over the years, they've built up this foundation tremendously through the efforts of volunteers, longtime volunteers, like Mr. Jones back there, probably one of the first dollars were put in there, Mr. Jones, along with others, and it provides a wonderful financial service and support to worthy students in our community, and I urge everybody to participate and support their efforts this week.
Mr. Delaney?
I'd just like to say, applaud your efforts, and for the 4 kids in the background, applaud your efforts too. I know it can't be easy picking up a phone and calling homes and asking for money, so it's a terrific job you're doing for not only yourselves but future graduates of North Reading High School, so you should be proud of yourselves.
And I would urge everybody listening out there, when they hear from these students, to answer them favorably. Don't hang up on them.
Thank you all very much.
I want to congratulate Mr. Teresi for taking over the helm from Mr. Maraska, too, and you're probably happy to give up the treasurer's job.
Been doing that for 14 years.
I know.
Let's see what else I can do.
Mr. Yule, you had a comment.
Yes. I was speaking to someone the other day, and I think we have a prime example of 4 young adults, and that's what they are now. They're young adults. I coach some of them in soccer, and I've they are a good example of the youth that we have in North Reading. And they're going to be going on to college, and they're going to need these types of funds. And the community should step forward as best as they can to contribute to this program. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Mr. Prisco?
No,
All set?
we already made, we just have to vote.
Oh, sorry, you're right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I think we'll be unanimous on this one.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Good night. There you go, Michael.
Thank you.
Next item on our agenda is a one-day license for the FA project. Do we have a representative here?
Good evening, everybody. I'm Rami Saeed, 483 Massachusetts Avenue, Boston. I represent a small 501c3 charity incorporated here in Massachusetts called the FA Project. We're looking to host our second annual bowl-a-thon right here at the Candlewood Lanes on 35 Main Street in North Reading. And I'm here to apply or receive a one-day beer and wine and malt beverage license. Some of you may remember me. I was actually here last year. I remember all of you, actually.
Yes.
Yes. And we've been down this road before. It's a 21-plus event. All ticket sales are done through our website. There's a private party. And it goes from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. On the night of Saturday, April 9th.
Questions? Anybody?
No, we're good.
No?
I'm in support and wish you much success.
Thank you very much.
Great.
Mr. Prisco?
Mr. Chairman, I move to grant a one-day wine and malt beverage license to the FA Project, Inc. for an event to be held at Candlewood Lanes, 35 Main Street on April 9, 2011, between the hours of 7 p.m. to 11 p.m., subject to all regulatory department requirements.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Good night. Next item on our agenda are the minutes of January 24th, February 7th, and February 15th. We'll do them in order.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the January 24, 2011 regular session minutes as written.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the January 24, 2011 executive session minutes as written.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. I'll just ask for discussion if there's any edits. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve February 7, 2011 regular session minutes as written.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Discussion?
Mr. Chairman, under number 5, funding alternatives for the Quinville payment, comments, it reflects that I stated that we should also check other departments to see what their budgets are, but I also would appreciate having included in there that my opposition to utilizing, let's see, restrictions. I believe that the way the discussion went originally that evening was that part of the suggested
We took it out of the overtime, right?
was to take it
Yeah.
out of the overtime, and I just wanted the minutes to reflect that, first of all, that was part of the discussion, and secondly, that I opposed it coming out of the overtime budget of the police department. So, under 5, it's suggested use of the overlay account, $345,000. course, the figure's 406 at the time. The difference would be figured out with budget restrictions. I think there should be some sort of reflection that one of the suggestions was to take it out of the overtime budget of the police department, and that my comments should include that I opposed that particular measure at that particular
And I
time.
think you were successful in convincing the rest of the board of
That's
the
true.
same.
That's true.
So how would you like that?
No, just, I'm open to suggestions as you look at it, but I think that we should include under number 5 that part of the proposal was to take it out of the overtime budget of the police department, that my comments oppose that, and that the consensus of the board at that particular time was to search for other alternatives.
Did you get that? So you want to hold off?
So I
on-
move to amend
Second.
To amend.
As amended.
to that effect.
There's a motion to amend by Mr. O'Leary, seconded by Mr. Delaney. All in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
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 So now I've
Opposed?
approved. Okay. Now we're
Okay.
going to vote to approve as amended, right?
Okay, as amended, the minutes of, I've lost the date now.
February
February
7th.
7th.
So, do you want me to read
Yeah.
it again? Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the February 7th, 2011 regular session minutes as amended.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Further discussion, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you, Mr. O'Leary.
Thank you.
We have an executive session. February 7th, Mr. Prisco.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the February 7th, 2011 executive session minutes as written.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Are there any adjustments anyone wants? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. And we have our regular session meeting of February 15th. Mr. Prisco.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the February 15th, 2011 regular session minutes as written.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. And we have the executive session minutes of February 15th. Mr. Prisco.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the February 15th, 2011 executive session minutes as written.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Are there any corrections? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Next item on our agenda is public comment. Anyone here for public comment? Yeah. Mr. Vino.
Thank you, Josephino, 11 Rock Street. I make this as a public comment also. I know that the board is trying to get the unions to get on board and to open communications and to get situations cleared up and done. Now, I'm not privy to everything that's been going on, but I did hear a member of the Board of Selectmen say the police union was unprofessional tonight in their strategy of bargaining, whatever that is. I just think that's totally improper, and that's not the way to keep communications open. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Anyone else for public comment?
Deanna Castro, 9 right away. I just wanted to let you know that a public service committee has been appointed and will be hearing testimony tomorrow for the first time on the health benefit reform. And Stanford Children, as well as the governor's office, mayor's office, I believe the Suburban Coalition, and other municipalities will be testifying tomorrow in Gardner Auditorium from 10 to 1 o'clock. There's also another public hearing or testimony on March 21st. And Stanford Children will have representation at that event as well. Just wanted to ask if you have been approached by the Suburban Coalition or the MMA to participate in any way?
We've been notified and
You
asked,
have.
is it a matter of urgency? to
MMA has, Deanna, it's interesting because I received an email today saying that at 4:15 today from the MMA saying that the time of the hearing has been changed from 10 a.m. to 12 noon
Okay. Tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Okay.
I guess it's an effort to keep the crowd down.
Probably so. All right. So you're well aware and that there perhaps will be representation from this board.
I, for one, will not be there. I have business obligation, but
The fact that it's